Welcome to a Nonsense Wars train thing. This is a 1 to 48 scale model of a Canadian Pacific 35-foot business car. These wooden cars contained office and living space for district superintendents, and the CP built more than 20 between 1901 and 1913, with a handful surviving into the 50s. The model measures 34 studs in length, 8 studs in width, and contains 718 parts. We found an article on these cars, including a scale drawing, in an old issue of Railroad Model Craftsman, and I became interested in building them due to their short length. The tiny scale radius of LEGO R40 track makes modeling longer rolling stock very difficult, as bogies, which are usually already too bulky, need to pivot far more than prototypical. A short car lessens this problem, but short cars are rare, and scale drawings of such cars are even rarer. Since this piece of rolling stock does not have any active mechanical components, I will comment on my design and build process, mostly done in LEGO Digital Designer. This isn't meant to be a guide. For those more interested in starting scale modeling, Jay has a primer, which I will link below. I will say though, to me the most important aspect of scale modeling is not the fine detail, but the overall proportions, and I generally won't attempt a build without a scale drawing for reference. Anyway, once I had my drawing, the first thing I did was outline the model in brick and try to understand how I wanted to make various features. LDD or some other CAD program is especially useful at this stage, as I can float bricks and assemblies without having to implement any actual structure, see the windows and the roof ends, etc. The red and blue post on the side is basically just a ruler. 80% of the work is done in 20% of the time, and you can see that manifest here. I settled the dimensions of the car and where major features should start and end, and I even worked on some greebles. The mock-up on the side represents something that I would normally test in brick, but could not because I designed this while on a trip. I wanted to see how far the bogies needed to turn in an R40 curve and whether they would interfere with ladders mounted to the body. At this stage, I am finalizing the details. I have a copy of the car, another great CAD feature, in order to compare different options for different features, most notably the observation platform. Sometimes I build based on parts availability rather than on what I like more. The brown 1x1x3 bricks I wanted to use for the walls were not that pricey, but enough such that I did not want to buy 40 to 50 of them. Once I was satisfied with the shape of everything, I rebuilt the entire model in order to optimize part count and structural integrity. For example, these plates and tiles under the roof need to overlap each other for rigidity, but I don't want to just use a ton of 1x4 plates and tiles. You can see how the rebuild ultimately incorporates all of the details I determined in the previous two revisions. The last phase of this build was the interior. I usually don't build interiors for my trains, but I wanted to give it a go. Like some of the external features, the space is a cartoon of the prototype. LEGO doesn't have the resolution to model it accurately at this scale. Instead, I implemented what I felt were the salient details and omitted some peripheral elements that would not fit. Finally, While inspecting the nearly complete model, I decided that the trucks were slightly too close to the center, and I spent some time moving each one out by half a stud. You can see the shift when comparing the old and new bogie. At this point, I finally built a physical brick prototype to test the chassis. For a model with more moving parts, I would test a lot more a lot earlier, and even then, it's sometimes not enough. And basically, that's that. Exporting the bill of materials and buying from Bricklink with Brickficiency is a whole different video, and I won't cover it here. That being said, even after the physical car gets built, it's never really done. Weaknesses in the mechanical or structural design can appear far down the line, and many of my trains have gone through multiple revisions. There probably won't be many issues with a simple model like this, but either way, this is the end of the commentary, so have a nice day.